killing part also much easier now that I'm honest with myself about it.
You Season 5 promises a dramatic conclusion for Joe. Fans can expect the season to explore Joe's inner struggles and hit Netflix in 2024 with plenty of tension and surprises. Today on ScreenRant, we discuss some plot theories for this season. After the jaw-dropping ending of You Season 4, where Joe Goldberg became more dangerous than ever with the wealth and resources of his new partner Kate, he seemed practically untouchable, but rumors suggest that Season 5 might finally bring serious trouble for him. The reappearance of key characters could pose new threats in You Season 5. Toddy Gabrielle, who portrays Marianne Bellamy, is confirmed to return for this season and could seek justice or closure. Marianne narrowly escaped from Joe in Season 4 and now is coming back. Season 4 established that Marianne might be willing to kill Joe if necessary to protect herself and her daughter Juliet. She missed her chance before, but Season 5 could deliver on this critical moment. The series' portrayal of Joe as irredeemable suggests it might conclude with his death, potentially at Marianne's hands. This would allow her arc to come full circle as she overcomes her fear and decisively ends Joe's reign of crimes. Marianne's return could make her the ideal character to kill Joe, or at least expose him. She knows the extent of his crimes, including the murder of love, and might no longer be blinded or stopped by past feelings. Unlike Kate, who seems to have accepted Joe's dark side, Marianne could unexpectedly re-enter his life and take him down, bringing closure to her story and the series overall. The setup for You Season 5 might stem from the closing moments of Season 4, where Marianne learns that Joe has started over with Kate and reclaimed his original identity after all the damage he caused. Knowing Joe is thriving while she and her daughter remain in fear could fuel Marianne's anger. Though her and Nadia's plan to kill Joe failed, Marianne might have taken relief in thinking he wasn't living the life he wanted. Now seeing him flourish and reshape his narrative as a victim, she might be driven to expose the real Joe Goldberg and his crimes. Another popular theory is that Joe Goldberg's downfall could come from Kate's super wealthy, powerful family. Unlike anyone Joe's faced before, Kate Galvin's family has more influence, connections, and resources than Joe can ever dream of. This could finally be the group that Joe can't charm, manipulate, or control. The theories about Kate's family suggest that at some point, Kate's family might discover Joe's dark past and use their power to expose him in ways he can't escape, or she would extortion him. Kate's family is clever. If they start to suspect something weird is up with Joe, they'll probably use their money and connections to dig into his past. They've got private investigators and their network can get them whatever information they want. They could easily uncover all of Joe's secrets, from stalking and manipulation to murder, and probably expose him. Joe might have no way to escape this kind of investigation. Kate might love Joe, but if her family starts investigating his troubled past, it's going to make her question everything she knows about him. She's always valued honesty, and as her family uncovers more about Joe, it will become harder for her to defend him. Initially, she may try to protect him, but once she realizes how deeply manipulative he has been and can be, Kate could start distancing herself from Joe. Her loyalty to her family could eventually outweigh her attachment to Joe. If that happens, it could be the end for him and his secrets. One of Joe's biggest flaws has always been his arrogance, and we can see that in his thoughts when he meets Kate's dad. Joe thinks he can manipulate anyone, but he's never dealt with a family like Kate's whose power goes way beyond what Joe can imagine. If Joe tries his usual tricks, lying, threatening, or charming his way out of trouble, Kate's family will probably see right through him. His overconfidence could end up being what gets him caught. If Kate's family finds out what Joe's done, there's gonna be big trouble. They could expose him to the public, ruining his reputation, and forcing him to face the consequences of his actions. Maybe they are the ones who send him to jail. They could even play with Joe's rules and have him killed. This theory makes a lot of sense, especially if we think about how Joe has always managed to talk his way out of tough situations. But Kate's family might be on a different level. They're not the kind of people he can outsmart. If this theory turns out to be true, Season 5 could show Joe finally being taken down by the one very powerful group, Kate's family. Over the past seasons, Joe's mental state has always been on edge, but he managed to separate his guilt and rationalize his actions. The Season 4 finale marked a shift. By killing his weaker half, personified as Reese Montrose, Joe accepted the darker aspects of himself without restraint. However, some theories speculate this newfound self-awareness might not make him invincible, it could become his undoing. Returning to New York, the origin of his criminal path may revive Joe's memories and feelings of guilt. His history of stalking, cheating, murder, and manipulation began here, and the physical environment alone could serve as a constant reminder of his sins. The presence of returning characters like Marianne, or possibly Ellie, might intensify his guilt. Marianne in particular has already escaped him once and serves as a reminder of the lives he's ruined. Joe's mental and psychological state has been portrayed as unstable before, particularly when he hallucinated characters like Beck and Love. Season 5 could push this even further, with more vivid and haunting manifestations of those he's hurt in the past. If his subconscious turns against him, he could begin unraveling under the weight of his actions. Joe's manipulative skills have always been one of his strongest assets, but his increasing mental instability could make him sloppy. Whether through a slip of the tongue, a poorly executed plan, or an impulsive decision, Joe might inadvertently expose himself. Fans theorize that this could happen during a high-stakes moment, perhaps in Kate's social circles, where one wrong move could topple his constructed image. Additionally, Joe's self-delusion is a double-edged sword. While it allows him to justify his actions, it also blinds him to his weaknesses. He might overestimate his ability to control Kate, her powerful family as we mentioned before, or even the law, leading to a catastrophic failure: jail. One of the strong elements of this theory is the idea that Joe's hallucinations could drive him to self-destruction, and Reese was just the beginning. Season 5 might introduce other ghosts from his past, Beck, Love, or even characters like Beck's family, forcing him to confront the human cost of his obsessions and actions. These manifestations could push Joe towards some sort of paranoia, making him lose trust in Kate or his allies. There's also the possibility of Joe's self-destruction becoming literal. In his most desperate moments, he could turn to self-harm or orchestrate a scenario where he is caught or even killed. This would align with the series' recurring theme of Joe as his own worst enemy. This self-destruction theory resonates with lots of fans because it ties Joe's downfall to his internal flaws, rather than an external force, like in the jail theory. It emphasizes that despite his manipulative mind, Joe's inability to reconcile with his guilt and his destructive impulses will ultimately consume him. The return to New York symbolizes a full circle moment, and his mental unraveling could serve as a fitting conclusion to a character who's always walking on the edge of chaos. Season 5 could explore how Joe's difficulty to change, despite moments of introspection, seals his fate. Whether he confesses, gets caught, or ends his own life, the journey seems to be really disturbing and tragic. Most fans agree that Joe Goldberg's downfall in You Season 5 is pretty much inevitable, but the real question is how it's all going to go down. Who's going to be the one to finally take him down? Will it be someone from his messy past, or a new face ready to outsmart him? And how far will Joe go to stop it from happening? Of course, there's always a chance the show will throw us a curveball, and Joe somehow slips away yet again. Either way, it's shaping up to be an intense final chapter, and we can't wait to see how it ends. Thanks for watching Screen Rant. See you next time.